Hello, my dear students. You're most welcome. My name is Lamina Naseem, and in today's session, we are going to discuss about the point of inflection. It is basically the part of maxima minima chapter, and whenever we are studying this chapter, we are getting crystal clear idea about the point of maxima, point of minima, but there is always a little confusion in the point of inflection. So in today's session, you will get a crystal clear idea about the point of inflection, and we are going to solve some questions also, because in the 12th class you will get some question in which there is like a statement is given, find the point of inflection. So how you are going to find the point of inflection, that you are going to learn in this video with me. Okay, so I need your 20 minutes only. In 20 minutes you will get the crystal clear idea. So let's start without any delay with the definition of point of inflection. What is the definition? Please let me write first. The point where concavity meets, okay, is known as the point of inflection. Or you can say that the point where concave up and concave down meets. Okay, so this is the definition of point of inflection. I know at this point of time you are not getting my point. As I already told you, give me 20 minutes only. Then after, you can like the video, dislike the video, and you can comment also. Okay, so let us consider we have any function. I am going to consider the single variable function. So what is our single variable function? Y is equal to the f of x. This is my single variable function. When you observe this function, this x is the independent variable. What is this variable? Independent variable. Okay, very good. This is my independent variable. And what is y? Y is the dependent variable. Okay, y is the dependent variable. On which y is depending? Y is depending on the x. When you change the value of x, then y is going to change. Okay, so this is my one general function. As we already know, every function has their own graphical representation. Okay, suppose that we are talking about y is equal to the mx plus c. Then you will say, ma'am, we can plot a graph of this function. What is the graphical representation? A straight line. Suppose that y is equal to the x square. I am giving you one more function. So again you will say, ma'am, this is the equation of the parabola. If I am giving you x square plus y square is equal to the c square, this is the equation of the circle. It simply means every function has their own graphical representation. Okay, so if this is my general function, what I am going to do, I am going to draw a general graph. Let us consider this is the graphical representation. This is the graphical representation of my function. Y is equal to the f of x. Okay, y is equal to the f of x. Now, when you change the value of y, when you change the value of x, basically your y is continuously changing. Your y is continuously changing. Okay, you are changing value of x in the on the x axis, and you are changing the value of y on the y axis. Okay, now try to understand, when you observe this graphical representation, are you able to observe its slope is continuously changing? Its slope is continuously changing. When you are at this point, like you will get different slope. If you are at the top point, at the bottom point, if you have somewhere here, you are getting the different slope. Okay, so it simply means this graphical representation slope is continuously changing. And how you are going to find the value of slope? With the help of the first derivative. Okay, first derivative always give you the value of slope, dy by dx, and you can represent like y dash also. Y dash is also the notation of the slope, and you can represent the slope by using this notation also, f dash x. First derivative, that is important to understand the point of inflection. Okay, now what is this slope actually? This slope is giving you the idea about the change in the y with respect to x. What is this slope? What is this slope? Y is changing with respect to x. Y is changing with respect to x. Getting my point or not? In this slope, you are taking change in the y with respect to x. Okay, so suppose that at one point of time, I am getting change in the y with respect to x is equal to the 0. What does it means? It means at this point y is not changing with respect to x. So these type of points is known as the stationary point, where you are not getting any change in y with respect to x. And in that particular case, when you draw the tangent, your tangent will be horizontal. What I am saying, try to understand this thing. I am explaining in a different way. Suppose that I want to check slope value. I want to check the change in the y with respect to x. So if suppose that I am at this particular point, I can draw one tangent. Okay, suppose that I am at this particular point. If you want to find out the value of slope, you have to draw one more tangent. Suppose that you are at the top. Okay, so you will get horizontal tangent. Again, try to understand. If you are going to draw a tangent at this point, your tangent will be like this. If you are going to draw a tangent somewhere here, your tangent will be like this. If you are going to draw a tangent here, your tangent will be like this. It means at every point your slope is continuously changing, and at this point your slope will become horizontal, tangent will become horizontal. At this point again you are getting horizontal tangent. Similarly, if you will draw the tangent somewhere here, you will get horizontal slope, horizontal tangent basically, and again somewhere here also you will get the horizontal tangent. So whenever your tangent is horizontal, it means slope is equal to the 0. There is no slope now. It simply means dy by dx is equal to the 0. And what is the meaning? If dy by dx is equal to 0, it simply means you are getting the stationary point. Okay. So can I say this thing? The point where first derivative or slope is equal to the 0 is called stationary point. Is called stationary point. Okay, so this is the definition of the stationary point. Now what we have to check? We have to check the change in the slope. And before going for a change in the slope, first you have to understand how the sign is changing. Slope sign is changing. Like if you have at this particular point, you are getting positive slope. How you are getting positive slope? Let us consider this is your horizontal line. When you take angle, you are going anti-clockwise direction, slope is always positive. Suppose that you are at somewhere here and you want to check like whether slope is positive and negative. So from the horizontal you have to measure the angle. So you are going clockwise, your slope is negative. So now we can easily say this thing like whenever you are going like this, your slope is positive, then your slope will become 0, and this is your stationary point. This is your stationary point. Okay, this is known as the stationary point. Then after 0 your slope will become negative. Try to understand. You are getting negative slope. Okay, here also you are getting negative slope. Then again you are getting slope 0. So again you are getting one more stationary point. Again you are getting one more stationary point. Then again your slope will become positive. So here also you are getting positive slope. Then again you are getting a stationary point. Then your slope is negative. Then again you are getting a stationary point. Then again your slope is positive. Okay, so this is the sign basically distribution throughout the graphical representation. My dear student, at this time I am creating a base to give you the in-depth knowledge of the point of inflection. Just listen to me. Trust on me and listen me for next 15 minutes. You will get the proper idea. Okay, so try to understand whenever we want to find out the value of stationary points, what we have to do. If we have any function, take the first derivative, put it equal to the 0, you will get all the stationary point. On the stationary point, your function may be maximum. Okay, because you are getting point of maxima at this stationary point. Because if we are talking where you are getting maximum value of y, so you will say ma'am at this point when you take the value of y, you will get maximum value of y. At which point you are getting minimum value of y, so you will say ma'am this point. At this point you will get negative value of y, and this is the minimum value of the y. It means at this stationary point you are getting point of maxima also as well as point of minima also. So it simply means just by finding the value of slope, just by finding the value of derivative, it is not easy for us to find the point where we are getting maximum value, to find the point where we are getting minimum value, and to find the point where we are getting point of inflection. We have to do some more. We have to add some more calculation. That we are going to do now. Okay, so like if you are observing sign convention, then you are observing like your slope is positive, 0, then negative. Your slope signs are changing. Okay, then negative, 0, then again positive. Okay, so try to understand if I am going to represent the nature of the graph. You are taking graph like this. First you are going up, then you are going down. Okay, whenever your graph is like this, first you are going up, then you are going down, always remember this is known as the concave down. Okay, I am talking about the concavity. So whenever you are drawing a graph like this, so this is your concave down. Okay, try to come at this region. When you observe your graphical representation, your graph first going down, then it is going up. Here what is happening here? Your graph first going up, then going down. First up, then down, it's a concave down, concavity. Okay, now let's try to understand here also. First we are going down, then we are going up, so this is known as the concave up. Okay, so my dear student, what is happening, like first you are getting concave down, then you are getting concave up. It means somewhere here your concavity is changing. You are shifting from concave down to concave up. Again, when you observe here, you will get concave down, then you will get concave up. So somewhere here also you are going to get the point, basically concavity change. Okay, here you are getting concave up, then here you are getting concave down. So somewhere here also you are going to get the concavity change. And what is the definition of point of inflection? The point where concavity meets, or the point where concave up and concave down meets, is known as the point of inflection. So can we find the point of inflection? Yes, with the help of graphical representation, at least at this time we can find the point of inflection. Okay, so try to understand. First we are getting concave down, then we are getting concave up. So somewhere here concavity is changing. So this point is known as the point of inflection. This point is known as the point of inflection. Okay, now first you are getting concave up, somewhere here also, like you are getting concave up, then here you are getting concave down. Okay, so if you are going to highlight the point of inflection, so I think somewhere here concavity will change, and this is also known as the point of inflection. Now again, this is your concave down, this is your concave up. So somewhere here you are getting point of inflection, POI, point of inflection. Okay, so with the help of graph, now I think we are able to find out the point of inflection. But my dear student, there are infinite number of functions, and for the infinite number of function we have infinite number of graphical representation. For us it is not easy to remember the graphical representation of each and every function. So it is very necessary, if we want to find out the value of point of inflection, with the help of calculation we have to go, rather than to choose with the help of the graphical representation. Because if you have any tricky function, you can't draw the graph immediately now. So if you are not able to draw the graph, then how is it possible for you to find the point of inflection? So now we are going to add some mathematical calculation and mathematical expression through which you can easily calculate the point of inflection. Okay, try to understand. Whenever concavity is changing, then after you are getting point of inflection. Okay, so here concavity changing, here concavity changing, here concavity, like here you are getting concave down, concave up, somewhere here concavity changing, concave up, concave down, concavity changing, concave down, concave up, again concavity changing. Okay, now try to observe one by one. This slope is giving you change in y with respect to x. If I am talking about the change in the slope, if I am taking change in the y, I am taking d by dx into y. Okay, so if I am going to check take change in the slope, so what we are going to take? D by dx into dy by dx. dy by dx. What does it means? What does it means, ma'am? Try to understand. This is my slope. Okay, and this operator giving you change. This operator giving you change. Derivative operator, na? This is the derivative operator. So what derivative operator doing? Derivative operator giving you change. Giving you change. Okay, now this time we are more interested to find the change in the slope. Why we are more interested? Because our slope is changing now. First you are getting positive slope, then zero slope, then negative slope, then you are getting negative slope, zero slope, then positive slope, then you are getting positive slope, zero slope, negative slope. So now we are more interested to find out the value of change in the slope. So when you multiply both the term, it simply means we are talking about the second derivative. We are talking about the second derivative. We are talking about the second derivative. It means with the help of the first derivative, it is not easy for us to find out the point of inflection. Now, my dear student, try to understand. We are going to create the mathematical relation. Okay, if I am taking change in the slope, it means I am taking double derivative and I am somewhere here. So initially we are getting positive value, then final we are getting negative value. Try to understand, this is very important. Initially we are getting positive value, finally we are getting negative value. Change means final minus initial. Change means final minus initial. So final value is negative, initial value is positive. So if I am taking change, what will I get? I get negative value. Ma'am, I am not getting your point. Let's take one example. Let's take one example. Suppose that my initial value is 2 and my final value is minus 3. Same condition I am creating. Initial value is positive, final value is negative. Initial value I considered positive, final value I considered negative. If you want change, you have to find final minus initial. Final is minus 3, initial is minus 2, you will get minus 5. Getting my point or not? So if we are taking change in the slope, it means we are finding the double derivative. Now my dear student, if you will find at this point, because this is important point, this is the point of maxima. Here only you are getting maximum value of the function. Here only you are getting the minimum value of the function. Okay, and here only you are getting the point of inflection. Here at this point and at this point. So I am saying if my slope value, my slope change, that is your positive, negative. So when you consider the change in the slope, you have to consider negative minus positive. So again the whole value is going to negative. It means when you find the double derivative, that is your d square y upon dx square, it is a change in the slope. If it is negative, negative means less than 0. What point you are getting? What point you are getting? Try to understand. You are getting point of maxima. You are getting point of maxima because here only you are getting positive initially, then negative slope finally. So when you take change negative minus positive, you are going to get the negative double derivative. If you are getting negative double derivative, you are getting point of maxima. Point of maxima. So here you are going to get the maxima. Here you are going to get the maxima. And there is one more observation. If your double derivative value is negative, you are getting point of maxima as well as concave down condition, okay. So if your double derivative value is less than 0, you will get point of maxima and concave down condition, okay, concave down condition. If you all are able to understand this thing, trust me, after this video you will never forget point of inflection because I am creating the base, okay. Now let's talk about the change in the slope at another location. Let us consider I am taking this location. So initially I have negative slope, finally I am getting positive slope. So if I will take change positive minus negative slope, try to understand our final value is positive, initial value is negative, final value is, our final value is positive, let us consider plus 3, our initial value is negative, let us consider minus 2. When you take change, final minus initial is change, 3 minus 2, it will become plus 5. It will become plus 5. Getting my point or not? So try to understand, if your double derivative value is greater than 0, that is this change in the slope, here you are getting positive change, so that is greater than 0, so what you will get? You will get minima. You will get minima. Okay, and there is one more observation. If your double derivative value is greater than 0, then you will get the condition of concave up. You will get the condition of concave up. Okay, now let's talk about on point of inflection. Try to understand, this is my point of inflection now. So before this point we are getting negative slope, after this point we are getting negative slope. Try to understand this thing, this is very important. Negative change. Okay, negative change. So my dear student, if initial value is negative, final is negative, so what is the change in the double derivative? Change will become 0. Initial we are getting negative, final we are getting negative. When you consider the change, you will get equal to the 0. So always remember, at point of inflection, if you are interested to find the point of inflection, your double derivative value will be equal to the 0, and here only you will get the point of inflection. Point of inflection. And there is one more observation. It is not like that you have function, you are going to take the double derivative equal to the 0 and you are getting point of inflection. No. You have to consider double derivative equal to the 0, and along with this you have to check whether concavity is changing or not. Before this point you must have to consider concave down condition, and after this point you must have to consider concave up. Or if we are talking about this point of inflection, before this point you are getting concave up, after this point you are getting concave down. So there is one more condition. The very first condition, consider double derivative equal to the 0, and then check if you are getting concave down, concave up before point and after point, then there is a concavity change, and if there is a concavity change, so definitely there is a concavity meets and you will get the point of inflection. Okay, so this is all about point of inflection. This is all about point of inflection. Now my dear student, like this is now I think clear, like where we are getting maxima, minima, concave down, concave up. Okay, and with the help of double derivative we can easily calculate. Now this is the time to understand this example. Find the point of inflection. We have one function and we have to find the point of inflection. So when we know, like directly we have to find out the value of double derivative, so without any delay, what we have to do? If we want to find out the value of point of inflection, what we have to do? Take the first derivative first. So what is the first derivative? X to the power 5 derivative is 5x to the power 4. So you will get 15, 5 3 is a 15, x to the power 4 minus 4 3 is a 12. So you will get 120 x cube. Okay, now what we have to do? We have to consider second derivative. Second derivative is 15 into 4. What you will get? 60 times of x to the power 3 minus, and then you will get 360 times of x square. If we are interested to find the point of inflection, immediately we have to put double derivative equal to the 0. So when you put double derivative equal to the 0, double derivative equal to the 0, what you will get? We can consider 60x square as a common term. So you will get 6x minus 6 is equal to the 0. So you will get two values. First value x is equal to the 0 and second value x is equal to the 6. Now my dear, you have two values which you have to plot. Initially we can't consider like 0 and 6 is our point of inflection. No. It might be possible out of 0 and 6 we are getting only one point of inflection. So how to check? Like double derivative is easy. To find the value of x is also easy. Now this is the time to check whether 0 and 6 both are point of inflection or not. Okay. So what is the second step? First step is the double derivative, and second step you have to plot both the point on the axis. Okay. So somewhere here you will get x is equal to the 0 and 6 is greater than 0. So somewhere here you will get x is equal to the 6. Okay. If you want to check whether like your x is equal to 0 is point of inflection or not, so before this point and after this point your concavity must be changed. Your concavity must be changed. Am I right or wrong? Okay. Like suppose that you are taking x is equal to the 6. If you want to check x is equal to 6 is point of inflection or not, so before this point and after this point the concavity must change. And how we are going to check concavity changing or not? Like with the help of the double derivative. If it is less than 0, then we will get concave down. If it is greater than 0, we will get concave up. Okay. So what we are going to do? We are going to consider some random values. before x is equal to 0. So I think, can I consider x is equal to the minus 1? It will lie before x is equal to 0, and somewhere here I can consider x is equal to 2 because it is going to lie between 0 to 6, and somewhere here I can consider x is equal to 7. You can consider any other also, because when you consider x3, again it is going to lie in the same line basically. Here you can consider minus 2, minus 3, minus. The only criteria which must be less than 0. Okay, if you are taking this value, the only criteria which must be lie between 0 and 6. If you are taking 6, there is one criteria which must be greater than 6. Okay, so what I am going to do, I am going to check my double derivative value. Okay, so first I will check at x is equal to the minus 1. This is my double derivative value corresponding to minus 1. This is my double derivative value, so I will get 60 minus 1 whole cube minus 360 minus 1 whole square. Okay, so like this is always negative, and here also you will get minus 60, and this is always negative because minus 1 square again become plus, so you will get minus 360. Okay, so you are getting minus, how much you are getting, 360 plus 40 400 plus 20 420. Okay, so now you can easily understand your double derivative corresponding to minus 1 is less than 0. If it is less than 0, what you are getting, concave down. Okay, so here we will get concave down condition. Now check at x is equal to the 2. Again check the same condition. When you check double derivative at x is equal to the 2, so what you will get, 60 into 2 cube minus 360 into, this is the formula na, this is the double derivative basically, 60 into 2 cube minus 360 into 2 square. Please solve this value. Please solve this value. What you will get? What you will get? Again, like when you find this value na, this will become 2 2s are 4 2s are 8, 8 6 are 48. So you will get 480 minus what you are going to get here, 4 4 zeros are 0, 4 6 are 24, 4 carry 2, 4 3s are 12, 13 14. Okay, so try to understand 480 minus 1440, again it is a negative value. Negative value, so you are again getting concave down because which is less than 0 na. So you are getting concave down. So before this point you are getting concave down, after this point you are getting concave down. It means concavity is not changing. When concavity will change, when first you are getting concave up, then you are getting concave down. First you are getting concave down, then you are getting concave up. Okay, so it means x is equal to 0 is not our point of inflection. X is equal to the 0 is not our point of inflection. Now what you have to do? What we have to do? We have to check it for a x is equal to the 6. Okay, so I am going to remove this calculation because this calculation has been completed. You can note down on your notebook also. Okay, now we have to check for x is equal to the 6. X is equal to the 6. What we are going to do? What we are going to do? We will put x is equal to 6 into the double derivative. Okay, not x is equal to 6 basically. Okay, first we are going to check, like we have already x is equal to the 2 conditions, concave down. Let us consider x is equal to the 7 directly. Okay, so what you are going to get, double derivative x is equal to the 7, you will get 60 into 7 cube minus 360 into 7 square. Okay, when you solve this value, you will get positive value which is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means concave up. Concave up. You can solve it. Try to solve it. You will get positive value. So you are getting concave up condition. Now my dear student, try to understand. Before 6 you are getting concave down. After 6 you are getting concave up. Before 6 you are getting concave down. After 6 you are getting concave up. It means there is a concavity change. If there is a concavity change, then this is my point of inflection that you have to find. Point of inflection. Point of inflection. What is the value of point of inflection? X is equal to the 6. Point of inflection is equal to the 6. Okay, now question has been completed. So hope so you get proper idea. Now we are going to solve one more example. We have to find the point of inflection, then where we are getting concave up condition and where we are getting concave down condition. Okay, so again I am going to do the same thing. First derivative of a function. What is the first derivative? What is the first derivative? 3x square minus 12x minus 3. Then we have to consider second derivative. When you consider second derivative, 6x minus 12. Okay, now you have to put it equal to the 0 to get the point of inflection. So when you put it equal to the 0, what you will get? 6x minus 12 is equal to 0. When you solve this value, what you are going to get? You are going to get x is equal to the 2. Okay. Now, we have x is equal to the 2, but still we have to check whether it is point of inflection or not. How we are going to check it? Consider the x's. Put x is equal to the 2 here. Okay. Before 2 and after 2, the concavity must change. So when we get concavity change, when we are going to consider one value before 2, so let us consider x is equal to the 1, and one value after 2, so let us consider we are getting x is equal to the 3. Okay, you can consider your own numbers also, there is no problem. Let's check what is the second derivative at x is equal to the 1. Okay, so when you consider second derivative, that is your 6x minus 12, so at x is equal to 1, what you will get? 6 into 1 minus 12. So you will get minus 6, which is less than 0. If it is less than 0, what you are getting? Concave down condition. If double derivative less than 0, then you are going to get the concave down. It means before x is equal to 2, we are getting the condition of concave down. Now this is the time to check at x is equal to the 3. So double derivative at x is equal to 3 will be equal to the 6 into 3 minus 12. 18 minus 12 becomes 6, which is greater than 0. So somewhere here after 0.2, you are going to get the concave up. Now my dear student, you can easily understand, before 2 we are getting concave down, after 2 we are getting concave up, there is a concavity change. So yes, this is my point of inflection. This is my point of inflection. Okay, now where fx is concave up, try to understand. Fx is concave up from 2 up to infinite. Okay, because after x is equal to 2, whatever the point you are going to consider, at each point you are going to get the concave up. Okay, so we can say that concave up we are getting from 2 to infinite. Okay, and concave down we are getting from minus infinite, because this basically number line is going to contain all the number from minus infinite to plus infinite. So minus infinite to x is equal to the x is equal to the 2. Try to understand. This is minus infinite plus infinite. So minus infinite till x is equal to 2, what you are getting? You are getting concave down condition. Na? Concave down condition. So here minus infinite to 2, you are going to get the concave down condition. Okay, so like this you can solve as number of question as you have. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like the video, subscribe the channel and share with your friends also to support me. Thanks a lot.